Hey everybody, this is Jamie with Creative Ready. Welcome to the webinar, and we are going to get started in just a few minutes, but we always want to give some time for people to gather in who might be showing up a few minutes late. So you're in the right place. Stick with us and we'll get started in just a few minutes. Welcome again to everybody who's just coming into the room, and we're going to get started in a few minutes, but we just want to give a chance for everyone to gather around. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for this webinar for Creative Ready. And just a few more minutes, we'll get started. Okay. Okay, again, my name is Jamie. I'm going to share my screen here with you so you can actually see what I look like live in the flesh. Hey everyone, Jamie Applin, CEO and founder of Creative Ready. And we're, again, really thankful that you guys have taken time out of your busy schedules to join us for this webinar. I want to also introduce Tim, who's with Creative Ready. Tim, if you want to jump on for a second there, say hello. Maybe even.
Hi everybody, I'm Tim. I'm a co-founder at Creative Ready as well, and I'll be here with you moderating in the chat.
Awesome. So there you go. There's Tim and myself, Jamie, and we're going to do our best to kind of guide you through this here. There's a lot to cover. Last time we did a webinar, we tried to cover it in about 30 minutes, and it ended up with the question and answer, it went about 45. So again, we'll breeze through it as best we can. There's a lot to cover. So yeah, so I'm not sure if all of you guys have had a chance to check out the site. I think a few of you that have signed up for the webinar have tried the demo account. I'll say right away, that's definitely the best way to get in there yourself. Take time, download some of the products, use them, watch our training videos. That's definitely the best way to really grab hold of what all we offer on our site. But this webinar, which is titled Welcome to the World of Stock Radio, we wanted to show you, well, what is stock radio? What does that even mean? What are stock radio elements? So we're going to show you what those are, show you briefly how they work, and just quickly how to navigate the site so that you can go from here and then on your own sign up for a demo account if you haven't already, and then start downloading stuff and using it. And so that's kind of, again, the whole idea of today's seminar is just to give you a brief overview of the site. And so let's get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to really just tackle our main categories, which are radio ads, jingles, audio beds, and scripts. And those are the four categories that really compile who we are at Creative Ready. We also have other products, but I'll briefly touch on them at the end. And then we'll open it up for question and answer. We've got some questions already submitted. If you do find that during the webinar that there's a few points that I'm maybe not clarifying, or that you'd like some further elaboration on, in the top right-hand corner of the YouTube window, you'll see a little chat forum, and Tim is moderating that. He's already started with a few chats just to kind of let you know where it is. I believe you have to be logged into your Gmail account or YouTube account to access that. But that's open. Feel free to submit your questions at any point during the webinar, and then we'll get to those at the end. Okay, and then of course we'll also do our draw for a free month membership. All right, so let's get started. let me turn my screen around here so that you guys can actually see what it is that I'm showing you. Okay, so there we are. This is live on the homepage at CreativeReady.com. And like I said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dive into, let's go radio ads. These are fully produced campaigns. And, you know, they're complete with audio beds, sound effects, voices, scripts, the whole 9 yards. And so let's just kind of take a look at how, you know, this category works. Once you get into the radio ads category, the first thing you'll probably want to do is filter by industry. So, I mean, you're more than welcome to kind of browse through and just start listening. But if you're getting in there knowing exactly what you're after, if you know, you're wanting to get into automotive, then just click on automotive and it'll filter just our automotive campaigns. So once you've kind of decided what you're after, then you just simply with your mouse hover over one of these little pictures and you'll hear an ad start playing.
No-name car dealer, radio commercial, take one.
John, this copy can't be right. It says 0% financing on all the latest generic brand name vehicles.
That's right, Bob.
Huh, but what about this no payment for 90 days? That can't be right.
It is.
And only $14,895 for a brand new brand name vehicle?
That's right, too. And we're out of time. Nice work.
Stop wishing and start driving at No Name Car Dealer, located at 123 Main Street in your town, or online at nonamewebsite.com.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you a quick sort of overview of an entire ad. You could hear it. Now, again, the nice thing is with that is that it's also got
no-name
3
car
more
dealer.
ads.
Bob, let's get
Right.
the no-name
Spot
car dealer
2.
and write this. Okay, Bob.
Spot 3.
Just to run.
Okay, so you know, these aren't one-offs. They're actually full campaigns. Some of them have 4 or 5 ads. Some of them have 6 or 7. The majority of them have at least 3, if not 4. And they're, you know, it's a cohesive campaign that you can stretch out over, you know, a few months or sometimes a half a year, depending on you know, the speed of how you guys work and your client's preference and so on. So you know, it's that simple in terms of navigating. Just, you know, browsing through the category. Obviously, the photos give you a bit of an idea.
It's a great day for golf,
right? So there's a golfing campaign. You know, so it's pretty easy to tell what they're about. But it's always best if you want to filter by category and by industry. So for example's sake, I'm just going to pick one so that we can kind of dive into it, download it, see what you get inside. We'll try this automotive here. This is one of my favorites.
This is Charlie. This is Charlie's car. Everything was fine until one day, Charlie became concerned. Charlie didn't know what that new sound was, but did know it would lead to something worse. So Charlie took his car to No Name Automotive. They have the know-how and experience to handle any problem your car may have. Plus, they have the generic co-op warranty to back up their work. Now Charlie and his car are happy and safe. Visit No Name Automotive today, located at 123 Main Street in your town.
Okay, so I like
this
that.
This is Jane.
Sorry, but I like that campaign, so I just simply click on the photo and it takes me to the page where you can then download it. You'll notice the great big blue download now button. This is once you're logged in. If you're just viewing the site and you're not a member, this would actually be replaced by a green Buy Now button. But since I'm logged in, you can see that up here where it says Test User's Account, I'm now able to download it and see what's inside. So let's just go ahead and do that. Click the Download Now button, and then that'll download to your desktop or wherever it is that you keep your downloads. And I'm going to open this up, and then I'll show you the screen, what's inside. Okay, that's me. You don't want to see me per se, but we do want to see what's inside that folder. Okay, so automotive, and that campaign's called This Is, 30-second format. And as you can see, we've got the 4 spots within that campaign that are all separated into their individual folders. So let's just take a look here in ad number 1 folder. You know, there's typically, you know, all depending on the complexity of the ad or the campaign. This one has 1 voice, so it's fairly straightforward. But you'll notice we have the WAV file of that voice on its own. We have the bed tracks, which are sound effects and audio beds, all on its own into one stereo file. And then we have a preview, that's just meant for you to hear the campaign, hear the ad as it's supposed to be. And then, of course, the scripts. There's a script in PDF format, and then there's a script in the Word doc, which you can edit. So I'm not going to get into the details in terms of how to customize it now from this point, because obviously you'll notice when you play these ads, it says No Name Automotive or 123 Main Street in your town. Now, that obviously has to be changed to your client's particulars. So because this particular webinar is more of an introduction to Creative Ready, I'm not going to cover customizations. But what I will say is on our website, I'll flip over to that again just so you can see, we have these great training videos that give you a more in-depth look. You can find it at the very bottom footer of our site under the Learn More, and it says Training Videos. And this is where you can actually go in and go, okay, well, how do I customize it now? So we've got lots of training videos in there. More are on the way. But what you'd want is the ones that say customizing stock radio ads. Okay, so I highly recommend after this webinar, if you get some more time, to go check those out. They're about 2 or 3 minutes, but it gives you sort of the next step. Okay, we've downloaded the campaigns, we've got all the files, now what? So check those out when you can, and it'll give you a really great look at how easy it is to customize these radio ads. Okay, so I'm going to move quickly. Okay, guys, I feel kind of badly because I'd love to spend more time in that category, but because it's a brief overview, we're just going to briefly touch on all categories, and then for further information, you can email us. You can check out the training videos. Okay, so let's jump over to the Jingles category. And it's a similar procedure in terms of how you preview the jingles. You simply hover over the branding statement and it'll start to play.
Live life with your friends. Live life with your friends.
Okay, if you check out another one.
We get it done on time.
There's another one.
Home is where the heart is.
Okay, so again, it's pretty simple. You just find the branding statement that works for you, and then you hover over it. Once you find what you're looking for, then you click on it again. So I'm going to use this.
You can buy for less.
You can buy for less example, which is a great little sell line for pretty much anybody, anything in retail. And so once again, you're free to download that. But I just want to touch on a few things that I feel are significant about this jingle category. The first thing is if you kind of scroll down to the bottom where it says related downloads, and it shows you a fair amount of other you can buy for less jingles that are currently on the site. And this is great because, again, they are the same cell line, same tagline as what you've picked, but it's now a few different variations of musical styles. So I'm going to remind you of the one that we picked just so you can hear it.
You can buy for less. CreativeReady.com. You can buy for less. CreativeReady.com. You can buy for less.
Okay, so that's a 30-second cut of that particular music style with You Can Buy For Less. Now, again, if we wanted to say, look at some other available musical styles, you come down to the related downloads and hover over a different colored statement.
You can buy for less. CreativeReady.com.
Okay, so that's again a different style, but with the same branding statement. Here's the same one, but with a male singer.
You can buy for less.
CreativeReady.com.
Okay, so you can kind of see how this works, how it's all set up. Let's check out another one here.
You can buy for less.
CreativeReady.com.
Okay, so the whole idea is that we have, you know, a fairly generic branding statement, but in multiple styles, and they're all available there for you to download. I'll also say too, if you know, you'll notice the color coordination that's kind of going on. These two purple ones have the same musical bed, and that's kind of how we coordinate them in terms of going, oh, I like that style of music. And it actually, what if you like that style but you wanted a different cell line, you could click on it, and it would take you to that page, and then it would show you all of the available, you know, musical beds in that same style but with different cell lines. Okay, so it's kind of slick. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, we know they're generic branding statements, and that's kind of how we've made it. The whole point of stock radio elements is that they're ready to go out the box. And again, you can customize these. Not something I'm going to cover here, but if you once again take a look in our training videos, there's a little 1 or 2 videos that show you how to customize stock jingles. And this can be customizing as simple as just getting a new singer, or it could be adding in your client's name and cell line. So even though, you know, they are generic beds and generic cell lines, you can still take them a step further and make them into uniquely, you know, creative, you know, cell lines for your client and jingles. And so really the sky's the limit with what you can do. But first and foremost, you know, once you find the jingle you're looking for, you can download it, which we'll do right now, and it's ready to go right out of the box. So let me just open that folder, and then I'll show you what's inside that. Let me just pause real briefly. I'm going to just check over with Tim and make sure everything's going okay. Is audio coming through clearly and everyone's seems to be tracking with me?
Everything seems so far so good, friend. Keep going.
Great. Okay, so let's take a look here inside the Jingle file download folder. This particular one that we downloaded, which was the You Can Buy for Less with the female singer. Okay, and so and inside, this one's way more straightforward than the radio downloads because, again, it's just the jingle, right? There's only so many working parts. And the first thing you'll notice is that we give you a 15-second cut, we give you a 30-second cut, and we give you a 60-second cut. This is basically us. We've gone ahead and given you 3 versions of how we feel the jingle is best used. But we've also given you the instrumental files. Now, this is key for, and again, I'm not going to cover it here, I'd love to, but this is key for making your own edits and your own versions of the jingle. If you're in production, you'll know that if you have the instrumental, you can basically make any type of edit that you would like. So if you, let's say the 30-second version that we created, let's say it just doesn't really work for the particular ad that you're producing. And so then you can just use the 30-second instrumental and cut and paste. And it's, again, it's covered in that training video, those training videos on our website to show you just how easy it is. Literally within minutes, you can have a completely different version of the jingle. So it's really cool. Highly recommend you guys taking some time to check that out. But in a nutshell, that's what you get when you download a jingle. You've got your instrumentals, you've got your 15, 30, and 60-second pre-edits, and it's all right there for you to go and use. Okay, let's make our way over to audio beds. Okay, so in our audio bed section, this isn't necessarily probably something new. Most stations and most agencies have, you know, their own sort of library of audio beds. But what's so great about this is that it's all in the cloud, and it's all, you know, it's got filters, so you can pick your style, and then you can pick your the time length. And so, I mean, my background in radio, you know, I had stacks and stacks of CDs that I would have to always filter through to get what I wanted, and it would take, you know, sometimes up to an hour just to find what. And they were always poorly labeled, and it was just a big waste of time. So the nice thing about this is that it's all ready for you in the cloud. You just hop into your account. You know, again, pick the style if you're looking for like a pop rock, or you're looking for country, pick the style you're looking for. And then again, you can go a step further and say, I only want 30s, or I only want 15s or 60s. And it's really, really slick. So let's just go ahead and listen to a few of these just to get an idea of what we're dealing with.
CreativeReady.com. CreativeReady.com.
Okay, so pretty straightforward, easy listening audio bed. Here's one called Happy Life.
CreativeReady.com. CreativeReady.com.
Okay, it's kind of a nice upbeat, fun one with the ukulele. I'm looking for something, let's say it's a little bit heavier, more of a rock kind of vibe. So let's check this out.
CreativeReady.com.
Okay, so that's great. That's the one I'm looking for. And again, it's that simple. You know, we're talking about audio beds. There's no voices. There's no vocalist, no singing on it. It's just an audio bed for when you're producing your own spot. And this one works, so I can just click download now. Real quickly, I'll also add that in the related downloads below this one, you'll see that it's basically the same song but in different cuts. So the one we chose was a 30-second edit. And down here, there's a 45-second, there's a 15, there's a full version, and there's a 60. And that's the case with most of our audio beds. You'll notice that we have, you know, typically 3 to 4 versions or edits, I should say, of each track, which is nice because, again, if you find one you're looking for, which is perfect, it saves you from having to go and edit it into the proper format in the spot that you're producing. So there you have it. Let's click download now, again, just to follow through and see what the folder looks like inside. This one's actually, there's not much to show you because with this one, it's just a WAV file. So once you download it, every time you download a file from us, it's a zip file. And you double click the zip, it unzips it, and it gives you what you're looking for. In the case of our audio beds, there's no folder because it's simply one audio track, but it's a high resolution WAV. I will mention also too, you know, that once you download the high res from our site, the Creative Ready voice that you hear is no longer in it. It's actually a question we get a fair amount, and so just thought I would kind of mention that you know, the Creative Ready watermark that's in there is only for previewing purposes. Once you're a member, once you're logged in and you download the actual file, you get the high res resolution WAV file with no interruptions. Okay, so that's our audio beds section. And then last but not least, let's take a look at our scripts, which once again is fairly self-explanatory. You know, these are great for, you know, kind of kickstarting some ideas, or, I mean, they're fully fledged campaigns, but I mean, if you're just kind of in need of some inspiration or some ideas, this is a great place to start. And once again, you can filter by industry. So if you want just automotive, click on automotive, and that will show you what's left there. So let's just take a look at the oil and lube, this campaign called What's the Mystery? And you'll see the preview right away, but when you scroll down, you'll notice all the spots. And this one has 7. It's got 7 spots in this campaign. So you've got lots and lots of creative for this particular campaign. And one thing too, actually, what I'll do is I'll download this to show you what our script templates look like, because we've even made them extremely easy for you to follow along, to understand, you know, what it is that is meant to be changed and what isn't. So let me just switch to that. I guess I need to get on that first here. There we go. Okay, so now you can see inside that folder, the oil and lube, What's the Mystery, which is in a 30-second format. There's the Word doc and then the PDF, okay? And that's for add 1. And then there's the add 2, Word doc PDF, add 3 Word doc PDF, and so on and so forth. So if you take a look here at the, I'm not sure if it shows it or not, it doesn't. What if I just zoom in on this? There we go. You'll notice in the actual file, we've even gone ahead and highlighted in green, and we've put a word count next to all of the words that need to be changed. So basically, at a quick glance, you can look at that and go, okay, all I really need to do is put in my client's name. Okay, I've got 5 words here. Okay, I've got 2 words there. And then down at the bottom with the locator, it's extremely, I don't want to say foolproof, but it kind of is. It's basically like, here's the stuff you can mess with. Here's the stuff you shouldn't. I mean, obviously, it's completely up to you what you want to do. Maybe you just want to use the opening line or the closing line or the middle section. That's completely up to you. But if you want to keep it as straightforward as possible, use the template and then just insert your client's name where you see the green letters. And that's about as straightforward as it comes. You'll notice some notes up at the top section there, which gives you some direction for the voice actors. But it's fairly straightforward. Okay, so once again, I know that's like a huge whirlwind of information in terms of those 4 categories. I think the audio beds and the scripts are fairly self-explanatory, but it's the radio ads, the fully produced radio ads, and the jingles that are somewhat revolutionary in terms of it's never really been done before. There's not really, you can't go on to iStock or any other stock site and get jingles. You can get audio beds, but you can't get advertising jingles. And same with radio ads and campaigns. So we feel a bit like we're leading the way in terms of that, and we've gone ahead and titled it Stock Radio Elements. Is essentially what they are. They're ready to go. And yeah, so that's kind of, again, a brief overview of those 4 categories. I'll spend some time, before I do this, I'll check in with Tim, but I'm going to spend some time in our bonus content, which I'll show you briefly what you get as a bonus if you are an All Access member. Before I do that, though, Tim, is everything going okay? Do we have any questions that we need to tackle now, or can everything wait?
Everything can wait so far. I just wanted you to maybe talk about how big of a difference in terms of time is it from creating a full campaign? You've got experience creating full campaigns from scratch versus using, say, for example, one of the completed campaigns. What kind of benefits in terms of time can you expect if you start using one of the Creative Ready campaigns?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your workflow and how that works. We've got a little bit of a kind of saying where it's picture yourself sort of starting at the start of a race, and you're at the starting block, and you're getting ready to run this race with other runners, and all of a sudden you get advanced 75% of the way to the finish line, and all you have to do is run that last little bit, that last quarter. And it's kind of the same way in terms of our radio ads. I mean, anyone who's in production will know how much time goes into coming up with a concept and then writing the scripts and then rewriting the scripts and revisions and then hiring voice and casting voice and then sound effects and then audio beds and then mixing. There's so much that goes into creating a campaign. And with this, we're not saying, obviously, you can't just air something with a no-name automotive. So there is a little bit left to do. And that's why we say with these in particular, we take you, almost 2/3 of the way or 75% of the way. Sometimes it's 90% of the way, all depending on the campaign and how it's been laid out. But right there alone, again, I can't speak for, your workflow, but, when I was in radio, I mean, sometimes I'd spend at least a couple days on a full ad campaign idea, even if it was a spec, because I'd want it to be professionally done. And so with this, I mean, I could literally probably get it done in an hour or 2 max, because I've got all the sound effects, I've got all the scripts, I've got everything done. The concept, it's all right there. I just now need to go and make a few minor tweaks in terms of customizing it for my client. So personally, that's how much time I'd save. I go from a couple days down to an hour or 2, but that's just my personal workflow. Is that okay, Tim? Is that acceptable?
That is fantastic. Thank you very much. I did want to mention one other thing. In the chat on the YouTube page, I'm not able to post full links, so you'll see some of our URLs that we're putting up there has some extra spaces in it. just copy those links into your browser and get rid of the extra spaces, and you'll be able to follow along with wherever Jamie is talking about at that time.
Great. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're at 2:30. We're getting close here to wrapping this up, but let's just spend a few minutes in our bonus section. Let me flip over here to our website again. Now, this is actually turned out to be sort of the dark horse of our service. You know, when we started this, our whole point is that we were catering to radio stations and ad agencies, and the whole idea of stock radio elements. Well, you know, in this day and age, again, a lot of stations are needing to become, I wouldn't say full service agencies, but they're needing to help their clients out in other areas than just radio. And so we've got these bonus sections. I think most of you are familiar with stock photos. The whole concept of stock was that, like when stock photography first came out, if I needed a certain photo for a brochure or for an ad, I would normally need to go and do that myself. And so you're hiring photographers. You could be spending up towards $2,000-$3,000 for a custom photo shoot. And then enters the idea of stock photos, where what if there was a huge library of pre-existing photos of all different scenarios and lifestyles and just different types of photos that I could go and download instantaneously at a fraction of the cost. So, that's stock photos, which we all know, and we've done the same thing, we're trying to do the same thing in terms of our radio elements. So knowing that radio stations need access to this kind of stuff, whether it's maybe even for your own website or your blogs or your news feeds, we have a whole category of just stock photos. And again, they're your typical stock photos of different lifestyle shots, and you can filter them by category, by industry, just like all of our other categories, and you can pick what you need and download it. And that's part of your membership, being an all access member. You'll notice, here's another question I get a lot is, oh, I see it says $5. Well, if you wanted to just download this particular picture of a latte, then you can go ahead and do that for $5 if you're not an all access member. But if you are an all access member, you have access to download it right now as it is. And that's part of your membership. So that's a huge benefit. We know some clients that before they came to us, were spending thousands of dollars a year on just stock photos. And now we've got thousands of them in our category that you get when you're a member. So that's our stock photos. We also have stock graphics or logos, or vector elements, depending on what you want to call them. And once again, you have access to stock logos. And this is great for sales reps who are, trying to service their client. And, we know of some scenarios where, well, I even firsthand, being a part of sales meetings and so on, you have a client come to you and say, I've only got $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever. And it's either got to go to radio or it's got to go to branding or something like that. So here's a wonderful scenario where you can say, let us take care of your branding needs. And these are some beautifully designed logos that all you would need to do is, once again, find the industry, find the one you're looking for. Here's a farmer's market one, and then download it, and you can customize it then with your client's name. So we've also got some some stationery, some postcard designs, some envelopes, letterhead, business cards. So basically anything in the graphics world, you have access to download it as an all access member. And last but not least, we have stock videos. Now, this is probably one of our newest categories, and so we don't have loads and loads of stock video clips, but we do have some, and there's probably a couple hundred that we've started with. And once again, like if you're in need of a video project or just some different motion graphics for your site, you can take a browse through here and see if there's something you like and download it. Okay, so that's all of our bonus stuff, which again, it's nothing to shake a stick at. We are quite proud of offering that to our clients, and we find that they get just as many downloads as our radio elements. Okay, so that's a quick overview. Before we close, or before we go to question and answer, I'll close just by by encouraging you to one of two things: sign up for a demo account. That is the best way. It's really the best way to get in there and just kind of, get hands-on and start downloading stuff and seeing what all is available. That can be accessed at creativeready.com/demo-account, and it's free. You don't need to enter a credit card or anything. You just put in your few details in terms of an account, username and password, and then you have instant access to our creative. And then the last thing I'll mention is our training videos, again, at the bottom of the site. I highly recommend taking a look at those because it's going more in depth than I'm able to go in this particular webinar. So demo account and training videos. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can always access us directly through our Contact Us page. And we'd love to. We've also got a toll-free number. So reach out to us, and we'll do our best to help you guys along. Okay, so let's open it up. I'm going to pass it over to Tim, and we can go to some question and answer.
Sorry, Jamie, I was just a few seconds behind there. I added a couple of links on the side there so that you can follow through and find the demo account and also the spot where the training videos are saved. So if you look in the right-hand side of the video, you'll see where we've got the chats going on. And what we'll do is in the description of this video, we'll also include those URLs after we're all done, so you can find them easily. Jamie, the first question I have for you is in regards to just languages. So right now, are we offering just English solutions? There was a request specifically for some Spanish content. What's the language situation right now?
Yeah, good question. We get that one a fair amount as well. We would love to be able to offer it in multi-languages. We're relatively new. We're about 1.5 years old in terms of being live. We've been in development for about 3 years now. But just like anything that's starting out, you got to start somewhere. And so our main focus and market is in English-speaking markets. Now, obviously, you're welcome to take, audio beds. Those are quite universal, and photos and so on and so forth. But in terms of our stock radio elements, we are currently only in English-speaking formats. But we're noticing the request for French and for Spanish and so on. So it's in our minds, but it's definitely back burner for now.
Excellent. Thanks, Jamie. The next question I have is, it's in regards to if you have other stations who are also able to access this content, what stops them and you from running, say, perhaps the same advertisement?
Right. Again, probably number one asked question is like, how do I get this to be exclusive to us? And, the first quick answer is, well, at our price points, which I'll close by showing you that, we just can't offer exclusivity with it. But what I'm going to do is show you our FAQ page. We've gone ahead, and again, this is a question we get asked a fair amount, so we've gone ahead and put our sort of templated answer on there. I think this one sort of talks about exclusive. Is our content exclusive? So just to clarify, we do use the word exclusive content because everything that you find on our site is exclusive to creativeready.com. You won't find this content on any other stock sites. So it's exclusive to our members. But in terms of you as a single member downloading a radio campaign and being exclusive to you and your client, well, we just simply can't do that. You'd be getting into a much higher price point, and so we're not able to do that. One thing we do say though is, if there happens to be, we do our best to, if someone's inquiring, say they're doing a pre-sale question, they want to know, hey, are there any other members in our market? We can't go ahead and say, oh yes, John Doe at such and such a station is using it. We can give you a pretty good idea if there's any competing members in your market. So feel free to always ask us that. But the thing that we typically kind of follow up by saying is, you're always keeping your ear to the ground. You know what your competing stations are doing and what they're, in terms of their creative, in terms of their programming and content. And so the same goes with this. If you happen to have someone in the same market who's also a Creative Ready member, you're going to know if they're using one of our jingles or using one of our radio ads. And so it's probably best not to go pitch that particular campaign or jingle to your clients. Now, if you're first to market and you go and do it and you kind of claim the ground, then great. But most sales reps are pretty sensitive to their surroundings and their market, and they know if other stations are using certain creative. And so you have to just keep your ear to the ground. It's just kind of the joy of entering into the stock world. You always run the chance of someone else having what you have. But that justifies the extremely low price point that we have on our service. So I hope that helps clarify a little bit. I know it's probably not the answer you want, but that is the joy of the stock world.
Jamie, we have about 5 minutes left, and I've got about 2 questions left for you.
Okay.
The first one is, give me an idea of how much content we have on the site, and is what's on the site going to be always what's on the site, or are we adding more? Is this a back catalog? Where does that all fit?
Right, good question. Currently, right now, we're sitting at around 60 to 65 campaigns. Now, again, in each campaign, there's probably 4 or 5 ads per campaign. But so that's kind of where our radio section, radio category is sitting. Jingles, we've got just over 1,000, again, that are currently available. Audio beds were well over 1,000, and scripts, hundreds of scripts. And then photos and our bonus content, we've got thousands of pieces of products. So that answers what's currently on the site as of today. And again, as we mentioned that we are new, we are working as quickly as we can to get all of our back catalog stuff on the site, as well as trying to raise awareness of, hey, we exist, because that's always half the battle. And doing webinars and things like that is always part of what's taking our time away. But in terms of what we have ready to go on the site, honestly, I have hard drives of content that's been created, and it's just needing to get on the site. One thing too is we're smart. We're not going to put every single piece that we have on right away, because the whole point of we're trying to build membership and a following here is we want to release content, kind of drip it out over a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you could just log in for a month and download every single thing and then walk away, and then we would not be in business anymore. So we have to kind of be strategic. We have to be kind of smart with that. But I can tell you, in all honesty, there's thousands more of audio beds, a couple thousand more jingles. The radio scripts, I can't even count. We're well over 2,000 or 3,000 scripts, and then the fully produced radio ads. Again, those kind of come as a result of the scripts. Once we have those worked out, we then go and produce them, and so there's a ton of them that are in the works. And we do our best. We can't legally say that we're releasing X amount of pieces per month or per week, because then we have to follow up with that. But we are doing our best to regularly add new content to the site, and so there you have it.
Jamie, in 1 minute, can you answer the question, is our tool designed to replace the production teams at radio stations?
Again, good question. These are the questions that we get a lot. And no, in a nutshell, no, we are not at all trying to replace your creative team. Our whole purpose is that we're here to aid and assist your creative and your in-house production team. It's not designed for an individual who has no capabilities of audio production to use the products. That there is some interaction that has to take place. And again, my background is in production and in radio and in advertising, and I know firsthand how demanding it is having to come up with new ideas and new spec ads and new jingles and new this and new that. And you've constantly got a lineup of reps asking for new stuff, and not to mention things that need to get on air. So the whole idea, the reason why we developed Creative Ready, was to help and assist your in-house team, and by no means replace them. And for the most part, I mean, the majority of our clients who are in production, they're constantly just, you know, emailing us and saying, thank you guys so much. This is such a lifesaver. I can't even tell you how much time it saves in terms of production and even just ideas, coming up with new ideas. So we're kind of like, we like to think of ourselves as the, you know, production engineer's best friend, you know, the creative resource that's available on demand. And also for sales reps, again, you don't need to go to production now and ask for spec ads. You can go to the website, download what you want, and go and pitch it the next day. All right, so there you have it.
We've got 30 seconds here. Do you want to just kind of wrap it all up just before we do the draw?
Absolutely. So I've mentioned the price point, which I'll forward or go back to our site here. This can be accessed up in the top, the very top, where you'll see our support 1-800 number, and then you'll see a pricing, and that's where you can access basically the purchase checkout page. And we currently have 2 options. You can purchase a all-access membership for $49 a month, and again, that's a recurring payment that happens each month, and you get all access. Literally, you have access to every single thing on the site. There's no daily download limits. If you see it on the site, you can download it. And so that's for $49 a month. If you're like some people who are a little bit afraid of commitment, you have commitment issues, you're more than welcome to go to our annual billing, which isn't recurring. It's a one-time fee of $529, and that gives you a full year, 12 months of access to our content. And then once your account comes for renewal, you then would need to repurchase that again, or you could switch to month by month. So those are your 2 options. You simply click on the monthly or the annual and click buy now, and it'll take you to the checkout page. And once you fill out all the information, you're instantaneously able to download content. So it is that simple. All right. Okay, I'm going to close it up. We're going to do a draw for the free month's membership. I'll just also say, you know, for those who don't happen to get the draw or don't win that, you can also go to the demo account. There are some restrictions on our demo account, obviously, but with this draw, there is no restrictions, and you have a full month of what it's like to be an all-access member. So without further ado, let's pass it over to Tim. Give the drum roll, and Tim will pick a name.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm going to do the draw right now. After I do the draw, Jamie will just instruct you on how to get a hold of us for getting that account set up. So, all right, the winner is Greg T. Greg T is our winner.
Greg T. Of course,
Yes.
We can't say last name for liability purposes, but Greg T. You know who you are, and we have all of your information on file from when you signed up. So please email us at admin, A-D-M-I-N, admin@creativeready.com, and we will get your free month's membership all set up for you and send you off a bunch of details. So there you have it. Thank you guys again so much for taking the time. We know you're busy. That's, again, partly why we created this service, is to help shave down on your production time and your time that's just so spread thin. So we thank you for taking 50 minutes and being with us today. We went a little bit over time. But again, there's just so much here that's hard to cover in a 45-minute period. So again, I'll encourage you to go to the site, sign up for a demo account, check out our training videos, email us, call us with questions. We'll take as much time as we can with you. But we truly believe once you've had a chance to check this out, you will agree that this is super beneficial for you and your station. So thank you again. I'm Jamie Applin. Tim Stead was also with us, and we hope you have a great day, and we'll sign off from there. Thanks again, guys.